So a whole whopping 7 months ago, married this amazing, beautiful woman. We started dating approximately 3 years ago and moved really fast. I mean, she was the unicorn that every guy dreams of running into. She started off kind of as a client of mine through a hobby job that I was doing, and then we had both recently, ended previous relationships and kind of found confidence in each other and quickly snowballed into a relationship. And same hobbies, same interests, same everything. And we got married in May. I had brought a lot of baggage into the relationship, financially, and entered this marriage not really standing on my 2 feet, just trying to play catch up with life and bad decisions in the past. And everything was great up until planning the marriage. Our relationship had kind of gotten a little rocky there for a little bit, and I kind of alluded it to, just the stress of of planning a wedding and planning a marriage. And post wedding, we had that little honeymoon phase, and things just never really ironed themselves out. And so we started going to couples counseling at the beginning of June, and first session was great. I made it adamant, I'm all in, just personal values, upbringing, you all in to work on your marriage, and lean into it. And so I was all in. Our therapist gave us homework. We came back the following week, and she dropped a bombshell, that she had gone back through a money tracking app that we had started doing together, to kind of manage finances, kind of build a budget out. And she had found where I had basically paid for porn. It was something that I didn't deny it when she brought it up. I admitted to it. It was something that I had struggled previously with, years and years and years ago. Wouldn't necessarily say addicted to it, but struggled with it. I'd stopped, and then kind of relapsed back into it, in the last year and a half. And about August, I kind of had that realization of, I'm a married guy. I've got a wife. What am I doing? And stopped cold turkey. But she went through that money app and did some digging and investigating on her own and found it. I tried to cover it up. It was an app where you could change the name of the charges and things like that. I had seen it on there. I tried to cover it up out of shame and guilt. Never admitted it to her out of shame and guilt. I had told her that I had previously had a problem with porn, and admitted that to her later in our relationship out of a fear of being vulnerable to her and being judged for it. And I guess when she did her whole investigating and found it, it blew up to, I can't be trusted. She called me a cheater a couple times, which hurt the most, because I would never, while I understand that porn, some people can look at it as cheating, I would never act on that. I would never physically step out of my marriage.
Yeah, but she doesn't know that.
Yeah, she doesn't know that. But the trust thing is the hardest part. That she feels like she can't trust me, and she basically said that she wanted, that she needed some time to think, and our therapist suggested a 1 week no contact. That was the hardest, longest week of my life, I thought at the time. And we reconvened, and she walked into the therapy session late. I noticed she didn't have her wedding band on. When I saw her walk in the door, my heart immediately sank because that was the first thing that I noticed, that she wasn't wearing her wedding band. And she sat down and said she wanted a divorce. And my life has been basically crumbled since then. So we're a month post that last therapy session. Our therapist suggested we each individually see therapists. Again, I dove all in. I've been meeting with my therapist weekly, here more recently biweekly. And I'm all in, trying to do better for myself, fix my problems, my vulnerability, my honesty problems, vagueness problems, and trying to figure out how I can, earn my wife. I still refer to her my wife, although she's filed for a divorce.
So she has filed paperwork?
Yeah, she's filed paperwork. She's gotten her lawyer. I got my lawyer just to protect myself. And we're kind of letting the lawyers, do their thing. But I'm still
okay. But so you have to exhale that this is over.
Yeah, and
you haven't yet, have you?
No, I'm still trying to hold on. I'm still trying to fight because I do love her with everything that I've got, and willing to do anything to show her that I'm all in.
I know, but you got to hear her say she doesn't care.
Yeah.
I know it's hard to hear.
Yeah. It is.
So how can I help you, man? I hate that you're going through all this.
I don't know. I understand, I've got to go through the self-healing process first. I'm still going.
Well, you do, but
really just move. I'm in a hole, and I'm just trying to figure out, how that light at the end of the hole.
Yeah. Stop digging.
Yeah.
Stop digging.
Okay.
Here's why. I wrote this down. When you first started talking, you came into this marriage thinking you were less than her. Sexually, financially, probably attractiveness. Like, you came in thinking, oh my gosh, look at the fish I got on this line.
Yeah.
And so everything, all of your actions are from a position of, I love how you just ended it. I'm in a hole.
Yeah.
And until you stop walking around, giving your credit card to a porn company is in the hole behavior.
Yeah.
That is less than. That is, I am desperately trying to feel alive in my own skin. So much so that I'll take one of the most untrustworthy groups of people on the planet and give them my account number.
Yeah.
You said something that I want to make sure I double click on. That you kind of held some stuff back from her because you were worried about her judging you. But I got a sense that you kind of feel righteous about that. Like, yeah, see, when you found out, now you're judging me.
Not really.
Okay.
And I dove into that as I've always had issues with just being vulnerable.
Yeah.
To just previous life. I lost my dad when I was in 5th grade, and I kind of was forced to grow up and had to put on this persona of being 10 foot tall and bulletproof for family and stuff like that. And I've always had a problem of letting myself be vulnerable to other people. And I didn't realize how much that affected me until I dove in with my personal therapist.
So what?
So it was a scared. I was scared of being, and I don't blame her for the way that she acted.
But hold on. It's very, very rare. I'm not sitting in and day out in marriage therapy offices. Okay, so in law offices, But in my world, it is very, very rare for somebody to find an old incidence of paying for or pornography, search history, found an old expense. What was this? Because that story is not super ringing true with me. Either that or she wanted out of this thing so bad and she found a path.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking, that this was kind of a death of 1,000 cuts, and that was the...
Yeah, but you were only together 7 months. There's not even time to have 1,000 cuts unless you're screaming at her and hitting her and swearing and just being an all-around scumbag, right?
Yeah, no, and it was actually kind of the opposite direction.
So what did she find?
That's what she told me, and there was really nothing else. I mean, I had tried to start a business right there when we got married, which took a lot of my time, which probably wasn't the smartest move on my part.
That's all fine and good. There's something else here, brother.
And I don't know.
Was it Was it like pornography, or was it webcam girl? Like, what was it? Interactive?
No, it wasn't interactive. It was OnlyFans, but I was strictly paying for videos. There was no interaction there or anything like that. I was just paying for videos and subscriptions. And she basically said that I lied about it. I relapsed. I'm cheating on her.
Well, and you say you don't have an addiction problem, but you continue to use addiction language.
Yeah, and I was never clinically diagnosed as addicted.
Sure.
But I guess I am.
I don't think you are, just from what you're talking about. But I don't work with you day in and day out, so I don't know. But I really don't know how I can help other than the faster you exhale into, it's one thing if she says I want a divorce, takes her ring off, and then doesn't do anything for a month or two.
Yeah.
Then in my world, that's so you're telling me there's a chance.
Yeah.
This is filing. Here's the paperwork. The lawyers have a date, and we're moving down the road. That's when, here's the deal, man. You can't go to all this therapy and do all this stuff to try to win her back. You got to go to the therapy and stuff because there's something not right. And it might be that she's not right. And I'm not saying she can do whatever she wants. She can divorce you for whatever reason, and she feels this is infidelity. It's infidelity. I'm out. Okay. But either this is just, I don't know. I'd have to talk to both of you longer, I think, to get a better beat on this thing. But what I can tell you is the faster you exhale and grieve this thing, it's heartbreaking. You did some stuff. You weren't honest about it. It doesn't matter what anybody else's opinion on it is. She says that's a violation. That's infidelity. I'm out. I can't trust you sexually. I can't trust you financially. You hide things. You go change labels. We went to marriage counseling in June, and it's August when I found this out. And so we've been through 2 or 3 months of counseling, and you didn't tell me. I'm out. People can judge her all day long, but she's got every right to walk. It's you that's got to exhale and go, okay, this is happening. What's going to be different next time? And by the way, she's not a unicorn, dude. When you put that kind of pressure on somebody that somehow you've found this mystical being that people tell you doesn't exist, you find somebody and you choose to love them, and you keep showing up and you keep showing up and you keep showing up. So yeah, the best I can tell you, man, is keep seeing a counselor, but also put yourself in a position where you can begin to act differently in a way that you learn to trust you. Because right now you're entering into all these relationships, the counselor, the marriage, the everything from in a hole. Stop digging and just stand up. The hole's not as deep as you think it is. Stand up. And this one may have cost you everything. And you have to take down on the chin. And that's another big loss for you. First your dad, then your marriage. That's tough. There is healing on the other side, man, but you got to own the reality of where you find yourself. Thanks for the call, man. Best of luck to you. Holler back if I can help in any way, man. If you've got some directed questions I can help with, I'd be happy to walk with you.